Good morning, Haverstock. This is Mr. Main leading your assembly on Monday the 15th of June. The theme for this morning's assembly is Every Action Counts. You're watching the assembly at the start of a week in which we'll welcome more of you back to school. So if you're returning this week, we're really looking forward to seeing you. And if you're continuing to work at home, you know we will continue to support you. So at this time, things are really hard for us to understand. You may be feeling sad, or angry, or puzzled. And sometimes you might look to adults, your parents and carers, your teachers to help you. We'll always do our best to explain and to support you, but sometimes we struggle and we have to look to others for inspiration too. So this morning I'll be sharing the story of two individuals who have inspired me by making huge contributions to their communities and to the world. And of course, during this time, dealing with the current health crisis, other issues, problems, conflicts in our communities and around the world have been put into some kind of perspective. However, sadly, they haven't gone away. Some stories may have been dropped from the news, but people around the world have been struggling for justice and survival as they always have been. The world continues to see a high level of displacement, the highest on record. People having to move from one place to another. By the end of 2018, an unprecedented 70 million people had been forced from their homes as a result of persecution or conflict. Among them, nearly 30 million refugees, with over half of them under the age of 18. So the word refugee describes a person who has to leave their home, and every minute 20 people have to leave behind everything that they have, simply because it's not safe for them to stay. That's the equivalent of approximately 200 people in the time it takes you to watch this assembly. If you remove the E from the end of refugee, you get refuge, meaning a place of safety. And both the individuals I'll be telling you about today found a place of safety and have transformed their experiences. One has changed the world through his work, his writings, his legacy, and the other continues to contribute to his community. And it's important we think about these individuals today because on Friday we'll be celebrating Refugee Day across the world. The theme for this year is Every Action Counts. And that theme reflects both the plight of individuals and it also reflects the desperate need to fight for justice through this pandemic and also through the anti-racism campaigns. The message is that everyone can make a difference. So let me tell you a bit about the first individual who you'll be learning about. He was born in Germany in 1879. As a child, he was silent. In fact, up until the age of 3, he didn't speak at all. And when he was asked about this, he is said to have replied that he did not see any need to speak or to communicate, as everything in his world had been in order. By the age of 11, he had taught himself algebra and also geometry during a summer holiday, and had devoted himself to studying maths at such a high level that his own tutor couldn't keep up with him. He was also studying physics on his own at university level. By the age of 16, he had renounced his German citizenship in order to escape joining the army, and he moved to Switzerland. In Switzerland, he trained to teach maths and physics, although he didn't immediately secure a teaching job and therefore focused his time on studying and also producing an incredible series of essays and papers. For example, in 1905, he wrote a paper called Special Theory of Relativity, introducing a completely new concept of time and motion. He returned to Germany in 1914 and taught for many years at the University of Berlin, and in 1921 he was awarded the most prestigious prize in physics, the Nobel Prize. However, Just over 10 years later, he was forced to flee his homeland, as Adolf Hitler had become the Chancellor. Leaving Germany behind, he sought refuge in Belgium, then in England, and finally in the United States, where he lived until the end of his life. This was because the new German government had passed certain laws. Laws which barred people like himself, a Jew, and an academic, and a teacher, from holding particular positions, and certainly from teaching at universities. Furthermore, his writings and his books were targeted as part of the Nazi book burning campaigns. So, from my words and from the elements of the story and from your knowledge, you may have recognized that I'm telling you the story of Albert Einstein, famous for amazing work in changing our understanding of modern physics completely, for developing the theory of relativity, for his famous mass energy equivalence formula E equals mc squared, and also for his status as a refugee, someone who'd escaped his homeland, someone who'd taken refuge elsewhere, an incredible individual whose action has changed our world. As part of Refugee Day, however, we're not only looking back and learning from individuals like Einstein, it's also an opportunity to consider the actions of people now and the impact of those actions, and to consider the fact that all these actions make a difference. So, the second individual I'd like to tell you about is a refugee from Syria, now living in Geneva, also in Switzerland. His name is Shadi, and he's taken responsibility for helping, organising, responding to the health crisis and supporting members of his community. And this short video will give you an idea of some of his work.
Hi, I'm Shadi, I'm from Syria. Through these difficult time conditions we live in Switzerland, where I live since 5, even more years in Versoix, my wife thought of an idea of how to help elderly people, how to help people in a state of auto-isolation, doing their grocery, going to the post for them, getting their medicines, so we help them to stay home.
Hello, bonjour.
I've received a phone call. Someone asked me to get them salad, milk, cucumber, olive oil. You see, there is only 2 left of the olive oil that I usually buy. It's important, I think, for people to buy wisely. At the supermarket entrance, there is a disinfection. Use it. Please use it. Cucumber. I believe solidarity is a human responsibility. As refugees, I understand and I know better what is the meaning of a crisis. Now I found the address, I arrived, it took me about 7 minutes walk. Keep social distance, please, at least 1 meter. Take your money, leave. If the person needs social conversation, do it over phone. Thank you very much, thank you for watching. I'm Shadi, goodbye.
So, Haverstock, we've learnt about 2 individuals who have thought about their actions and their responsibility as humans, both individuals who've had to leave their homeland to take refuge elsewhere, whose actions have counted in changing our world in different ways, who have taken responsibility for being the best that they can be, and who have come through a personal crisis. Let's remember Shadi and his work and his contribution, and all those who have been recently displaced. And also let's remember Albert Einstein, the contribution he has made to our knowledge and to our understanding of the world. Thank you.